The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Monday, December 23rd. And Rico, you're going to love this. Today is National Roots Day.
Yeah, man. It's all about your roots. How about that, man?
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex Haley.
He's not talking. He's just so you know, Rico, he's not talking about the roots on your head. Okay. It's not talking about your hair roots. It's talking about your family tree.
That's what Alex Haley is all about. Roots, Jason.
Right.
You
just want to make sure we're all on the same page, Rico. I know you get confused easily.
You don't know who Alex Haley and Roots?
I just know you get confused easily, bro. That's all. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
I don't get confused. I don't get confused easily unless it's you doing some mental and verbal gymnastics. It's the only time I get confused because.
Mental and verbal gymnastics. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And very,
like you love to do. Yeah. When you try to spin your way out of facts.
I don't need to spin my way out of facts. Okay, I'm the fact spitter. Know that.
That exactly.
Speaking of facts, it's also
on your lips.
It's also today. It's National for Noose Day. Am I saying that correctly? For noose, it's probably not.
Furnace?
PFEFFERNUSSE. It's like a cookie.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Right. I'm confused, Jason.
And it's Rico. It's also Forefathers Day.
Yeah, you have forefathers. You had no DNA tests? Is that what's going on?
I just think it's interesting. It's National Roots Day and National Forefathers Day. Shout out to the forefathers out there.
Yeah, shout out to foreskin too.
Oh,
how about
boy.
that?
Boy. What about four heads?
Oh boy.
That's the kind of serpent that you need more women at. That serpent party you need more girls at.
Yes.
Sounds like to me.
Oh man, let me tell you something, Rico. It's also Festivus for the rest of us today.
Yes, it is, man.
Yeah,
it is.
Pull out your grievance stick, Rico, and thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet, and we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And kicking it off, that's right, we have the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the one who's wearing a dad cap that is not a dad cap today. That's right, it is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Oh yeah, Jason, definitely appreciate that. It's a fun day. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But legal cannabis businesses continue to operate each year in America without federal protections and benefits enjoyed by their mainstream business counterparts. It's why generating massive sales numbers each holiday season has become such an important ingredient to each company's annual recipe for success. And with each election cycle adding more states into the decriminalized what's up? And with each election cycle.
No, you're good. You're good, Rico. Just keep on going. I don't know.
And or legalized mix, we've begun to see some social media platforms loosen their content policies to allow more marketing access to legal operators. As a result, social media strategies once again become one of the more important marketing tools for cannabis businesses, even though they've been forced to walk a tightrope, still with more restrictions than porn, guns, crypto scams, and other questionable content sharing the same space. But for the biggest platform of all, Meta, things seem to be headed in the opposite direction this holiday season. According to MJ Biz Daily's Margaret Jackson, state-regulated businesses have been reporting en masse that Instagram, owned by Meta, is increasingly targeting their accounts through shadow bans, reduced visibility, throttled engagement, and even more account closures. The trend follows an update to Meta's terms and conditions seen across all of their properties, which include Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, resulting in stricter enforcement of policies related to cannabis-related content. Businesses like CMS Gardens and Old Pal note in the article that posts promoting product sales are frequently flagged, and many accounts face issues despite adhering to stated guidelines. Some companies have turned to Meta-verified subscriptions, costing them up to $14.99 a month to navigate these restrictions, while others face costs of up to $6,000 for third-party brokers to regain account access. And it's not just plant-touching businesses experiencing Mark Zuckerberg's prohibitionist wrath either. Non-plant-touching businesses such as Buddhist have also faced suspensions, despite focusing on education rather than sales. The limitations impact engagement and customer interaction, prompting some companies to seek alternative platforms like LinkedIn, X, or invest in their own websites and CRM systems. And the issue extends beyond cannabis to psychedelic advocacy groups, which also report reduced engagement and increased reliance on creative code word workarounds that generally tend to work until they don't. With all these restrictions hindering advocacy, education, and fundraising efforts across both industries, it really makes you wonder what Meta's big problem is. Facebook and Instagram hold down two of the biggest three most social media platform spots. 3 of the top 5, if you want to add WhatsApp in there, all Meta properties. What is Mark Zuckerberg's endgame here? I've got no idea, but I'd like to hear from the rest of you guys. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, asking questions today. What's going on?
Oh man, you know, Meta is the censorship king, and Mark Zuckerberg is trying to be a master of the spin factor of trying to say, oh no, I'm not going to be censoring people anymore. But this article makes it sound like he's still going to be censoring people. He's just not going to be trying to censor conservatives, but still going to try to censor anyone that wants to talk about a plant.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, why are they making it more strict than it was before now?
Obviously, there's a bunch of people that are skirting the system. I mean, I've seen a number of ads on Instagram of people saying, "Hey, if you're a plant touching business and and have been shadow banned, we can help you work and navigate around Meta's AI platform and this and this and that." So it's probably because of these people paying for
funding that.
I mean, who knows, bro? I mean, it's all a total psyop anyway. You know that.
We know exactly what this is. The Twitter files revealed exactly what's been going on inside of social media companies, that the FBI and the CIA have been communicating directly with the heads and directing traffic and what they want censored and want shut down and what they don't, just like they do with Operation Choke Point and banking. This is the same thing that the federal government does to things that they don't want and don't like, that threaten their corporate buddies in pharma and ag and the military industrial complex and so on. So this is just the same game, and cannabis people need to stand up and leave Meta products and go to LinkedIn and go to X and go to other platforms that actually support freedom and vote with your attention.
Oh, look at that. Vote with your attention. With intention for attention, right, Jesse?
Vote with your body.
I do have to push back. It is Monday morning.
Oh, here we go. He's back. He's back from Hawaii. And
yeah, listen.
How come you didn't get tan while you're in Hawaii, Yarrow? You look just as pasty as ever.
because my grandparents died of skin cancer, so I wear a fucking sunscreen.
Wow.
I look like my face is covered in white grease, and I got like sun shirts on. I look like I'm afraid of the sun. I'm gonna be here long enough to continue to give you guys shit well into my 90s. So the thing I would say, and respectfully, Jesse, is, show me the history of Twitter being friendly to cannabis, and I'll show you an empty news hour, right? It sounds good. It also sounds a little partisan. Pardon me. It sounds like Twitter is open to cannabis.
The ex-cannabis community is raging right now. There's all kinds of conversations going on.
And how long has that been on X? Friendly?
Well, they've been friendly
Since Elon bought it.
Yeah, they've been friendly for almost like 2 years now. I had a meeting with the people at X, and they actually showed me some interesting statistics on X. That X actually has cannabis as one of the most talked about topics on the entire platform.
Did you where hashtag 420 went off to?
So I found out about this, Jenny.
You
can't hashtag a number. No number. There's no numbers, so it's not discriminatory against just 420. There is no numbers that you can hashtag. And also, too, there was a post that Elon put out that said he doesn't even like hashtags, and hashtags mess up the whole user experience on X, and so no one should even use hashtags.
Every word that you write is indexed, so every word is a hashtag.
Look at that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, certainly LinkedIn has been head and shoulders above all other platforms for years and years and years.
Oh, 100%. LinkedIn has been badass for a long time, and they've declared their stance behind cannabis, and that they stand for state legal companies, and they'll allow them to do business. And they've been good on it. I've talked to LinkedIn people. I've also talked to X people that work at X, and their stance on cannabis is very, very strong. And it's very open.
Yarrow,
so we need to use our time and attention and dollars and advertising and everything that we do as a community on all of these platforms that support us, whoever they are.
I think the challenge is that consumers are on platforms that consumers are on, and businesses are on platforms ideally where the consumers are already at, right? So this article, Rico, thank you, covered a couple, big notable brands coming out of California, Old Pal and Buddhist. And these companies are trying to meet people where those people are at. If every customer, if every wholesaler, if every account was on LinkedIn, we wouldn't have this article to cover, right? Because LinkedIn has been so cannabis friendly for so long. The challenge is if your customer is already on Instagram, or you're trying to hit the soccer mom and they're only on Facebook or whatever. And the differences between these platforms are so pronounced in terms of how they treat cannabis. You can't say there's a one size fits all, but that also makes me think maybe it's not, the Illuminati, the shadow government, the deep state, because if there was something super nefarious that was coming from incredibly, gauzy power places, wouldn't it be the same across all channels, because they would want to have it just sort of a kibosh to it? And we don't see that. We see Instagram being terrible and LinkedIn being wonderful, and a lot of other channels and platforms in between. It's hard for me to reconcile those and make any sense of it.
No, I think that that's the problem. And if the deep state and the government's getting involved in controlling messaging, it's around things like COVID and around things like, political policy, not cannabis. We're not, once again, the center of anybody's fucking universe. And I think the problem with Meta is they're selectively censoring, right? Seth Rogen can post whatever the fuck he wants. We can't. Those are the bigger problems.
Follow the money.
I don't know. I disagree on that. I think the deep state is definitely behind the censoring of cannabis. I mean, they're the ones behind Operation Choke Point and a few other things that influence the cannabis industry. But you know what I'm saying. It's all right, Jenny.
Jason, which state has the deepest roots? Which state is the deepest?
The deepest state, bro. The deep state. It's cute. That's cute, Rico. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to bait.
Everything is the deep state, isn't it, Jason? Everything.
No, not everything. Not everything.
Yeah, but there's been studies that show that even if the state is moderately deep, once you get past a certain depth, it all feels the same anyway.
Yeah, it's all shallow at that point, huh?
Oh, God.
I'm putting Jenny to sleep.
All right, we're going to a commercial. We're going to be right back. We're back. We're back, Rico. We're back.
Yes, we are. Back like we left something. Up next, we have none other than the spin master himself. He knows how to talk his way out of every deep state and turn it into a shallow puddle on the ground. Here to break us off with our second story of the day is MAGA Nation's very own champion of weed everywhere.
That's right.
Jason Beck.
Oh, very cute, Rico. The highest Republican. You know what it is. You know what it is, Rico. Man, oh man, oh man. Do I have a story? And since you guys just wanted to talk about the pandemic, I actually have a pandemic-related story for you guys on this magical Monday, because a Brentwood man was sentenced after receiving $300,000 in COVID-19 relief funds for his fraudulent marijuana business, you guys. That's right. A Brentwood man has been sentenced to 37 months, and for those of you that can't do math, that's 3 years and 1 month in prison after receiving more than $250,000 in COVID-19 relief funds for fraudulent nonprofit, according to the Department of Justice. The fraudulent nonprofit was found to be an unlicensed marijuana distribution business, you guys. And guess what this guy's name is? That's right. Tan Du Nguyen, 53, was the sole officer of TNA Distribution, which was an unlicensed interstate marijuana trafficking operation with multiple grow houses around the Bay Area, you guys.
Excellent name. Excellent name.
It's pronounced win.
Whatever. According to the DOJ, Nguyen used his fraudulent business to receive funds from 2 economic injury disaster loans, EIDL, from the U.S. Small Business Administration and the SBA, which was meant for small businesses experiencing financial disruption as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Nguyen first applied for the loan in April of 2020, and the DOJ said he certified that TNA Distribution was a nonprofit business of antiques and collectibles. According to the DOJ, Nguyen also falsely reported the nonprofit's gross revenue and employee count, and TNA Distribution grossed approximately $2.4 million the year prior to January 31st of 2020. In June of 2020, Nguyen listed TNA Distribution as a nonprofit in the business of miscellaneous services on a second EIDL application, according to the DOJ. And authorities said he also lied about the business's gross revenues, cost of operations, and employee count. The DOJ said that they received approximately $300,000 in EIDL funds and used a significant amount of the loan funds for his marijuana distribution business and for gambling. So, you know, he was over at that Casino San Pablo playing cards and whatnot, but, you know. No, Nguyen pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud, said the DOJ, and Nguyen has been sentenced to 3 years of supervised release and to pay $300,000 in restitution and $300,000 in forfeiture. Nguyen will be sentenced on February 28th of next year, you guys. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh, this guy, he got like $300,000 and now he's getting fined like $600,000. What do y'all have to say about this?
Well, first and foremost, Jason, I'd like to point out that Nguyen is pronounced win.
Thank you, Jenny Beth. Thank you.
Not Nguyen.
It's Nguyen.
It's not, and I corrected you, and you continue to be as absolutely fucking impossibly wrong every fucking time.
I am never wrong, right. Jenny Beth. That's how it's pronounced. That's how you pronounce it.
It's like, thank you, Jenny Beth.
I'm glad this chat can thank you all they want, Jenny Beth. I think they were just thanking you for being here on time today.
Jason, it's win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Let me tell you how you spell win. You spell win with a W-I-N or W-Y-N-N. That's how you spell win.
You're real ignorant again, but all right, continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough.
We got to learn how to listen. We got to read our stories ahead of time and sound words out.
Mm-hmm. I did sound it out.
Yeah,
I really did. I really did like the name of his business, though. Like TNA distribution. Like, dude, like if you're going to be, using these SBA funds and everything for some nefarious business or whatever, like how about use something a little less conspicuous?
I mean, It's antiquities.
Trinkets and antiques.
Yeah, exactly. Trinkets and antiquities. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like remember TNA wrestling? That was fantastic.
Oh boy. I mean, there's also the TNA truck stop gas station that's pretty popular, Rico.
Yeah.
Well, some of us would know more than others, so I can't speak to that. But what I would say is that it's always frustrating to me when there's some scammer or charlatan who happens to perform some sort of malfeasance and they paint with a bad stroke and it's cannabis industry. Like, okay, this guy scammed the government. Cannabis wasn't even really a part of that. You know, I mean, look,
cannabis was a part of it because he was using the funds for his cannabis business.
This
Yarrow.
guy's so full of shit, maybe he should get elevated to the C-suite of an MSO. I get it. But I also think that at the end of the day, this guy would have used any business as a front to scam the government. And it's too bad that it has to besmirch cannabis because there's some really great people in regulated cannabis.
Yo, it didn't, Jason. I was like reading.
There's some really great people in unregulated cannabis too.
Yeah, Jason. So I was reading through the article here, and it says like, yo, he said that it was a nonprofit.
Yeah, he filed on the forms that it was a I mean, technically for California, you got to be a nonprofit. So you know what I'm saying?
No, technically, if you're in cannabis in California, you might not be making profit, but that doesn't mean that's how you try to do it.
It was like this guy was begging to get popped. Like what the fuck? Like the TNA distribution is marked as a nonprofit, and he was selling unlicensed weed through the distributing unlicensed weed through the business. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man.
This guy is definitely not an adjunct professor at crime school.
You think he had a lot of Bubba Kush in his distro, Rico? All right, you guys. That was fun. We're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna roll right into Mr. Jesse Barney. He's the founder of JB Design Co. Helps you out with graphic design, all of the necessities to really brand your business, and he has helped with all of our graphics over here at High at 9 News since our infancy. That's right. It is none other than Mr. Jesse Barney.
Good morning, everyone. My story is from ABC6 this morning, and it's from the Associated Press. Traveling for the holiday, here's what the TSA says about flying with marijuana. The Transportation Security Administration issued a statement regarding trying to take marijuana on a flight. Many Ohioans will travel to see relatives during the holiday season. After becoming the most recent state to legalize recreational marijuana use, some may be wondering if they can bring marijuana products on their flight. According to the WJW, the short answer is no. That's because most of marijuana products are illegal under federal law. Due to the TSA being under federal jurisdiction, bringing pot through a checkpoint could potentially lead to criminal charges per the outlet. Here is the TSA's official statement on taking marijuana on a flight. Marijuana and certain cannabis-infused products, including some cannabidiol CBD oil, remain illegal under federal law except for products that contain no more than 0.3% THC on a dry weight basis or that are approved by the FDA. See the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, as published in 115-334. TSA officers are required to report any suspected violations of law to local, state, or federal authorities. TSA's screening procedures are focused on security and are designed to detect potential threats to aviation and passengers. Accordingly, TSA security officers do not search for marijuana or other illegal drugs, but if any illegal substance is discovered during security screening, TSA will refer the matter to a law enforcement officer. According to WJW, TSA officials noted that its employees are not trained for drug screening, adding that they're looking specifically for security threats and not drugs. The outlet added that changes to the law would allow marijuana on flights, or that would allow marijuana on flights, will be a lengthy regulatory process, one which currently has no timeline. Well, out of this article, the thing to note is that just call it hemp and say it's THCA and you're good to go.
Oh, man. You know, that's right, Jesse, because at the end of the day, it's all THCA, in my opinion.
Right, yeah, Jesse, I'm glad you added that. You see, I put it in the comments there. I'm glad they're explicitly stating no more than 0.3% THC. But they have like a lab testing facility on site now.
Exactly.
They drop it in one of those things and they test it to see if it turns purple or not.
They dab that down after they grab your balls, dude, like every single time. Like
they use their forehand
time.
For that, Rico. Their forehand.
The last 6 flights I've been on, I've been groped, and I get louder and louder every fucking time. I'm wearing. Next time I'm just wearing Jenny Beth yoga pants. I'm wearing some fucking yoga pants next time. Just have my dick just bulging out. Like, yo, is that because is that because they've been getting better with their groping over time, Rico? You think they're just improving their technique? Man. Right, yeah, these motherfuckers try to act like they're all uncomfortable doing like trying to look away. Like, nah, look me in my eyes, motherfucker. Look me in my eyes. Touching my dick.
Oh,
well,
man,
you know
Rico's got trauma.
If it's TSA,
That's
I'm traumatized. I'm gonna sue the TSA, and I hope Donald Trump supports that shit too.
Well, they said they're about to eliminate it.
You got the completely wrong context. When this happens to me, I just always hope that they call it right afterwards. And I bring a big thick stack of $1 bills, so while they're doing it, I can make it rain so they understand I appreciate the physical affection.
Next time I'm gonna pop a blue chew before I get in that security line.
That's funny.
Just let them go to work.
That's funny.
Let them go to work.
Mm-hmm. You guys are funny.
Sorry for that rant, but fuck TSA.
I mean, but here's the thing. So TSA, for people flying out of California, there's 4 or 5 airports where TSA is not looking for weed. But Ohio, they're definitely going to be looking for weed. Las Vegas, they're definitely looking for weed. And I just think that it's a misuse of their resources by looking for weed, because their main objective is to search for things that could disrupt the flight. Right?
Well, no, it did state in the article, and this has been the position for a long time, that they're not ever looking specifically for it. So if they see it in the scan, they don't care.
Well, hold on, that's bullshit.
If they see something
that's
else
not how
in
it works.
the scan,
that's not how it works, Jesse.
That's what it said in the article.
I'm going to tell you right now, because that's not how those scanners work, bro. That's not how those scanners work. Those scanners, when you see cannabis in a scanner, it does not show as that. It doesn't actually show as anything because it's a plant matter. So it doesn't show as it's actually anything in their X-ray machine. So
right,
they're only doing that
material.
to harass people and to take your drugs.
Well, they don't know if it's cannabis, so your bag has to.
Well,
be
they know
open
it's
for
not a
some other
bomb.
reason.
They know it's not a firearm.
But that's not why they're usually open.
I'm just saying. They know it's not any of those. So if they would just stick to their job and doing what they're supposed to be doing, they wouldn't be bothering you. So it's obviously harassment.
Their job is to bother you. That's literally their job.
Well, maybe for Rico.
And if you're Rico, you might get a pat down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to pout and look cute, but you can get a pat down if you work it, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Look, everybody knows that the TSA is useless anyway. If you did want to sneak a bomb in, you could definitely get one in.
Oh man, yeah. Did you see those reports when they showed all the weapons they got through when they had the undercover? They did an undercover special.
95%. Yeah, but 95% failure rate.
Exactly.
When it comes to actually catching contraband.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like real things that would disrupt a flight, and so I think they need to focus their attention on those types of things. And
I think TSA and Instagram are conspiring against the whole world.
Yeah, it's the deep state, man.
You may be right about that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Extra deep.
You're not far off, man, because TSA and all the things that they do are a direct result of the Patriot Act, which is right in there.
Yep.
They want to see how deep my state is, I guess.
Oh boy.
They tried to touch my Mississippi, and I told them not that wet water line.
The state is deep.
You have anything else you want to say so we can get off of this topic, Jenny Beth?
I've had enough.
You've had enough? You've had enough. All right, fair enough. We're going to roll into a commercial, and we are going to be right back. I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that, they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
So
All right, stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.high9news.com. Are you a business that's suffering from the hyperinflation that is plaguing America today? We have the solution for you. That's right. Patriot Business Financing. Head on over to www.patriotbfc.com and apply for a loan up to $2 million. Any state, any industry, even the cannabis industry, the CBD industry, as well as the industrial hemp fiber industry, secure up to $2 million today. And make sure that when you apply, you tell Paul you said hi from High at 9. Oh, yes, and we are back.
Oh, yeah. Up next and fresh off a full weekend of celebrating her 36th birthday, we got the melanated and highly opinionated conservative mouth from the South, the juice behind Justice Serve 501c3, the mind behind kind cannabis consultant herself.
That was cute.
Jenny Beth Dills, for reals. You look very lively this morning, I must say so myself.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
Sunday, dickhead.
Day after Sunday.
All right. So South Africa makes history with partial cannabis legalization. In groundbreaking move, South Africa has become the first African country to partially legalize cannabis. On May 28, 2024, President Cyril Ramaphosa, probably wrong, signed the Cannabis for Private Purpose bill just before the historic general elections that marked a shift in parliamentary control after 3 decades. This new legislation allows citizens to grow and consume limited amounts of cannabis in private spaces, marking a significant shift in the country's cannabis policy. While individuals can now cultivate up to 600 grams of cannabis, the bill prohibits public use and the sale of recreational cannabis. Those with past cannabis convictions may see their records automatically expunged, though the fate of approximately 3,000 prisoners for cannabis-related offenses remains uncertain. The journey to this legislation has been a long one, stemming from a constitutional challenge that began in 1998. In 2018, a pivotal court ruling allowed for medical cannabis use, setting the stage for the latest milestone. Despite the excitement, some critics argue that the new laws don't go far enough in protecting the rights of individual growers. As the cannabis industry in South Africa continues to thrive, it's important to recognize both its historical roots and the evolving perceptions of cannabis within society. With a burgeoning market and increasing investment, South Africa is on a path to reshape the narrative surrounding cannabis use on the continent. So, not far enough. Automatic expungements are amazing. Home grow and patient access rights are amazing, especially when it doesn't have to be just medical. So I think something is better than nothing, but shout out to South Africa for getting the ball rolling on it.
Wow.
Look at this. Yeah. I bet you Elon Musk is really excited about this.
Yeah. Did they kick his parents out?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Bro.
South Africa doing a lot of good things recently.
Yeah. South Africa has been on the up and up. That is for sure, with a lot of different things, and so this is just adds to that list. This is great news for everyone out there in South Africa and anyone that wants to visit South Africa.
Yeah, let's hope they move closer and closer every year towards full legalization. You know.
Yeah. I mean, you know how we go. All use is medical use. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's all THCA at the end of the day, Rico. You know what I mean?
It is. It is.
Medical, Jason, they've had medical in South Africa. Now they're allowing consumption and cultivation for personal use for recreational as well.
I was listening, Jenny Beth.
Somebody, thank God.
I'm glad for them and I'm sad for us, because it's like they're ahead of some of the states here in the United States. And I'm just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I remember going over to Canatech and like back in 2018 or maybe it was 17, and people were talking about their excitement for the South African market. And it's great to see that they continue to evolve and iterate. And they're still further ahead than some of the states here in this country. I agree, Jason. You know, all cannabis use, human beings should have the right to homeostasis, and they should be able to put modest amounts of plant medicine into their bodies and be able to create what kind of mindset they want to be at and not have government interference with that. It'll be interesting to see how they enforce or actually roll this out, because I think the devil will always be in the details.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy how like all these other democracies actually practice democracy?
Oh boy. Oh, jeez. You know, the pepper plug out in the YouTube chat says, when you back up in a Tesla, it should make bong rips, you guys.
Okay. And one of the things I think will be interesting to see is whether the 3,000 prisoners mentioned in this article are released for their cannabis-related offense. And if they do that, then they're light years ahead of this country.
Well, I mean, it's not hard to be light years ahead of America right now when we have Joe Biden at the helm. He moves at snail's pace.
It's crazy how the incoming administration wants to bring things back, right?
We're about to make America great again, Rico. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Like I said, when was it great before?
It's 4 years ago.
And that slogan, "Make America Great Again," for 2020 or for 2016. When was it great before then?
Under Reagan.
For who?
Under Reagan, social services were decimated.
Yeah,
and the irony of that
drugs.
was that a crazy man got out and shot him.
Yeah. Makes sense.
There's only one good thing Reagan did, and that was allow conjugals when he was the governor of the state of California.
Oh God, jeez Louise, we're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna, ending communism. You could have started with that at least. You know what I'm saying? That would have been. You know what I mean?
Imploded. They didn't need Reagan.
That's not how.
You guys are able to completely derail this story to the point that we didn't even acknowledge what cannabis cultivation and cannabis legalization could do for the continent of Africa, could do for deforestation, could do for the economy, could do for the people of Africa. But yes, let's please talk about Dicks and fucking Trump.
You're 100% right about that, Jenny Beth. You guys should all be ashamed of yourselves, all three of you up there.
Deeply ashamed.
All three of us.
I think this is.
You do, Jesse. You're guilty by association.
I didn't do anything.
But that's all the more reason why the deep state's got you in their sights.
Exactly.
Like I said, Jenny Beth, I think this is fantastic, and I wish America was better at doing democratic things. Small D democratic things. Don't even go there, Jason. Small D.
You might as well just call the baby D.
Well, I mean, what's funny about that, Rico, is that the person who could have done a lot of things every single year for the cannabis industry is Schumer. Where's Schumer?
I'm not bringing it there.
Schumer could have showed up and done so many things for the cannabis industry.
I'm not bringing it into partisan politics there. I just said democratic.
You're
things.
the most partisan person on this panel.
I didn't say one party or the other. I said they're doing democratic things better than us, who we're supposed to be the leader in democracy.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The person who is responsible for answering to the cannabis community right now has been Schumer, and what has he done on when the entire
Nothing.
nation has spoken to him. Like, how many
He hasn't
states are
even-
legal now?
He hasn't even humored me. He's terrible.
He doesn't humor anyone. He doesn't humor anyone.
And the state he hails from has had an incredibly rocky rollout.
Yeah, I love how you guys just keep on going back to your partisan politics. What I'm saying is that America is not good at democracy, but you know what? We got good ideas, and other countries like to take those ideas and put them into action. So
America is fantastic at democracy. America is the most democratic nation in the world, bro. Stop it. Being ridiculous.
Google that. Google that right now. Google that right now.
Google. You think I expect a woke ass Google to tell me what is up?
Put it in ChatGPT. Put that in Grok. Put that in any search engine you want, Jason. We are not even close.
Yeah, in Rico's world.
It's an oligarchy.
I live in reality, Rico, not in your fantasy world.
We have the richest man on earth shutting down our government with his ideas.
It's not shutting down our government. It's not shutting down our government. They passed a budget bill that dropped it from 1,500 pages to like 67 or something like that. Yeah,
Totally.
And then that's already passed. So like, you're just creating a false narrative, bro. You need to keep up, Rico. But nonetheless, we're going to go.
I've been keeping up.
We're
going to go. Need no Bluetooth, baby.
Then there's no shutdown. You would know that.
Exactly. And on that, we're going to, since there's no shutdown, we're going to roll into a commercial and we're going to be right back. Are you all ready for America's new #1 D9 gummy line? That's right. We are bringing to you Parody Gummy. These vegan gummies are manufactured in a safe harbor facility, so you know they're going to be clean and safe, and they're not going to give you any of the runaround. Coming in, we have 3 amazing flavors for you. We have the Raspberry Riots. Also, we have the Sleepy Joes if you need something to help you sleep at night. And if you're feeling like raging and having a party time, that's right, we have the Pineapple Bad Hombre. If you're feeling like a bad hombre, make sure you head over to www.parodygummy.com and secure your bag today.
Somebody's hungover.
And we are back, Rico. You want to introduce Yarrow?
I can do that.
All right.
Coming back from his month-long sabbatical at the Shire. where he just wrapped up filming of the new trilogy of Lord of the Rings, Return to the
Hobbit's Nest.
Return to Sebastopol. We have none other than the founder of Special Teams Consulting, fellow dope dad, and one of my favorite little people on earth, Yarrow Kubrin.
Oh, thank you. The intro hazings just get worse and worse. And for some reason, I'm a glutton for punishment because I just keep coming back. Good morning, Monday, December 23rd. Thank you, High at Night viewers, for tuning in. And my article is from The Guardian. And I would love to just like sort of add like a British accent, but I'm not that good. And so without further ado, THC drinks gain popularity in the U.S., but can they fully replace alcohol? A growing trend of state laws permits the sale of cannabis drinks, and beverage companies are angling to make the next hit alcohol alternative. The laws in the U.S., most recently in Hawaii, are cropping up that allow THC in beverages, a move that some experts say will have mixed benefits for those seeking an alternative to alcohol. It's part of a growing trend of policies that makes THC drinks available often where alcohol is sold. About a year ago, Minnesota passed a law allowing THC drinks to be sold in liquor stores, and ever since, these beverages have begun to appear on shelves around the country. A loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill removed federal restrictions on products derived from hemp with low levels of Delta-9 THC. Texas has allowed businesses, including bars and liquor stores, to apply for licenses to sell hemp products since 2019. But some liquor store chains did not take advantage of the rule until this year. Connecticut passed a law in May that restricted the sale of THC beverages to licensed liquor stores and dispensaries. Most states do not have laws that specifically regulate The sale of THC beverages and chains like Total Wine and more have recently started selling them around the country, given that they are not expressly forbidden. Alcohol alternatives have become increasingly popular in recent years. As THC drinks become available around the world, it's an open question whether customers will really see them as a long-term replacement for alcohol instead of as a novelty. Menakishi Sabariman, a biostatistician at the Public Health Institute at the University of California, Berkeley, has studied whether people with alcohol dependence can effectively use cannabis as a medication to reduce problematic alcohol consumption. She has found that cannabis fully or partially meets 6 of the 7 requirements for an effective substitute medication. But whether THC drinks can functionally replace the social experience of alcohol is a different question. Sabaraman, I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your last name, says people are more likely to successfully replace alcohol with cannabis if they have specific motivation for doing so, like using it to help with pain or sleep, or to intentionally cut down their alcohol intake, like hang out without the hangover. Quote, I think there's an effective circumstance or situation in which cannabis can serve as an effective substitute, she said, before adding, if you're going out looking for a certain kind of intoxication that's more stimulating, then cannabis isn't the correct substitute. Still, the THC beverage companies are angling to steer customers away from alcohol and towards their drinks. A recent poll shows there are more U.S. adults who use cannabis daily than those who drink alcohol that often. I think the culture is ready for an alternative, says Aaron Nobish, founder of Breeze, a hemp-derived cannabis company. Nobish says when he first tried THC-infused seltzers, he found them too relaxing to replace alcohol. In an attempt to solve this problem, he added lion's mane extract to his Breeze beverages because it reportedly enhances energy and focus. Clinical research regarding the mushrooms in humans is limited. Cannabis beverages also lack the immediate effect of alcohol. That's not true. Let's talk bioavailability, PK, and nanoparticle technology, but I guess I'll save that for another article that I would write. In some cases, it can take more than an hour for their effects to be noticed. THC beverage manufacturers have been developing nanoemulsion technology to speed up this process. Removing the taste of cannabis is another challenge. Cynthia is the founder of House of Saka. Oh, God, I wanted to love that brand, but did not love the taste. Which makes THC-infused beverages from wine. She says it's incredibly expensive business because we have to not only buy the wine, but then turn around and remove all the alcohol from it. Then they tried to formulate it to taste good with cannabis emulsification. This is what happens with all wine, by the way. You sit down with the formulator and you start to add back in different flavors and tannins to bring it to where it should be, she said. Alcohol and cannabis also share some of the same problems. Most notably, it's dangerous to drive under the influence of either. It's a good point. Whoever wrote this article, you are brilliant. As more cities around the country began allowing cannabis consumption lounges, intoxicated driving could be a growing challenge for the industry. The Artistry has 2 cannabis consumption lounges in Southern California. Staffers deal with some of the headaches that come with running a bar, according to the dispensary's co-founder, Lauren Fontaine. They will cut customers off if they look like they've had too much and sometimes help them arrange a ride home. They also keep a product called Undo on hand, which is intended to sober people up. But Fontaine says she contends with more restrictions than either bars or purveyors of hemp-derived THC beverages. Lounges must close by 10 p.m. sharply to comply with California law. The Artistry is a licensed adult recreational dispensary and therefore must comply with more restrictions and pay higher taxes than competitors selling hemp beverage drinks. The California governor, Gavin Newsom, issued an emergency ban on all intoxicating hemp products due to reported negative effects, but it has not been consistently enforced. Another barrier for customers who might want to replace alcohol with cannabis is the price. A 6-pack of THC drinks typically cost $30 or more, so it's hard to imagine they will be a go-to for tailgate parties anytime soon. Okay. That was a big mouthful. Y'all know, that any of you who've watched me on the show, that I'm still bullish on beverages. Jason isn't. We'll let him dissent. I do think this form factor will continue to have growing acceptance and adoption, especially amongst the younger generation and those that are kind of curious. And I'd like to hear what my other pundits think about this article.
Well, I'm not that bullish on those beverages. And you know what? There was another article that came out today that was saying how cannabis is going to take over the alcohol market and whatnot. And they were like pointing to some study, but I know that the study was flawed because that's total BS.
No, but why is it total BS, Jason?
Why? Because cannabis beverages are never gonna surpass alcoholic beverages, bro. Because you don't turn up like that when you're on drinking a cannabis beverage. Okay, I mean, even studies show that cannabis use doesn't. Just look at it from a driving perspective. Okay, so cannabis, you're more likely if you're driving on cannabis to stop at a stop sign longer or have a slower response time, as opposed to alcohol makes you drive faster and take more risks. And so therefore,
and roll through the stop sign.
Yeah. Just for that metric alone, you could already know that cannabis is never going to surpass the alcohol beverage industry.
Big shout out to my man Glenn. I used to work with him back in my baker days back in 2016 to 2018. He launched his own cannabis seltzer drink, and he just hit his third month in a row of $500,000 in sales, and he is rolling right now. So big shout out to the beverage entrepreneurs out there, because they would think very much otherwise than what you're saying right now, Jason. Cannabis beverages that's because they are on a tear. They continue to go upward.
Yeah, I mean, they only can go upward.
There's definitely a huge market for it, but the concept of a bar, I don't see cannabis drinks by themselves occupying the space of like the way a bar or a club would function with alcohol. Unless there needs to be products that are developed specifically for that. And like the article mentioned, there's difficulties around rapid onset and things like that. People have solved that problem, and there are drinks that you can drink and you feel them immediately. And so that helps, but then there needs to be almost like a combination with like turkey tail or other functional mushrooms or other adaptogenics or things like that to give you a party vibe from weed. It's just, weed is not, to most people, I don't think it's like something that you just turn up and rage and party with. It's often an added accoutrement, but it doesn't drive the party like alcohol does. And I think that's a cultural problem, and that's how the function of the medicine is itself.
I'll tell you what.
Let me just say this real quick, Jason.
Go ahead.
Two things, Jesse. Number one, like, I agreed with you wholeheartedly, but my people in other states, they seem to think otherwise. My boy Glenn that just noted his company, P-Lift. Yeah, they're out in Illinois. I'm here in other states too. My homeboys out in Virginia said that they're really, really big down there too.
No, I know there's a market for it. I get that. That's what I said. Right.
I'm just saying, yeah, like I would be right in alignment with you guys if these aren't like people that I know that are saying that, yo, they're big and they're actually becoming more big at parties too. And just last month, just last month. Hold on, just last month. I like I told you, I was at Thanksgiving and we had like a lot of folks there, and the women were all sipping on cannabis seltzers, not beers.
That's because women generally don't drink beer.
At a social environment that makes sense. But I mean, you'll prove this argument when there's a club that serves only cannabis drinks. When
11 drops alcohol and only serves cannabis drinks, then you can make that argument, Rico. But until then, that's total BS.
Show me a rave club.
Strippers falling from the ceiling like sloths falling asleep.
Yeah, show me
Yo, they go like slow motion and grinding and shit. Like, yo, I'd like to see some slow motion.
I'll tell you what. You know what? You know what?
Say that much.
These beverage makers, okay, these beverage makers, if they really wanted to compete with alcohol, they would join with alcohol, and they would make beverages that are specifically designed for the crossfade, that would be mixers to apply with alcoholic beverages that nightclubs would carry in conjunction with the liquor. Okay.
So we are a generation away from that. There's a reason why Constellation put $3.5 billion into canopy growth. There's, Julian Cohn saw the form factor before most people did. This article is incorrect in terms of the absorption and time that it takes for cannabis beverages to be felt. The majority, in my opinion, of cannabis beverages are using fast-acting nanoparticle emulsion technology already, which puts them on pace with alcohol in terms of moment of ingestion versus moment of intoxication or feeling it. I think, Jesse, that while I don't disagree with you, as I stare deeply into that handsome face of yours, I think I see a little bit of gray hair in the beard. And so I think a lot of your perspective is really gray perspective. We are a generation away, and we're seeing those changes, and those changes will not be reflected in your demographic. However,
you think we're a generation away from a cannabis-only nightclub?
Yes, and I'll tell you the reason why. We're a generation away. We're a generation away.
We already have those. They're called consumption lounges.
Fuck if I can't get a word in edgewise. We are a generation away because the regulatory bodies have not created a pathway for the crossfade form factor. And so most people who ingest A also ingest B. I think there's some people who only consume cannabis. There are some people who only consume alcohol, but I think there's a lot of people who, left to their own devices, will consume a little bit of both when they're going out to get frisky and festive. And until we have a form factor that is approved and really sort of sanctioned, and people don't have to step out into the freezing cold, into the back alley behind a bar to take a few hits, I think that we're not going to see a full manifestation of what this is going to end up being. And so that's why I say I think we're a generation away, because I think the alcoholic beverage control and regulatory authorities are going to be the slowest moving part of this. I think all we're really seeing is human behavior becoming licensed and sanctioned. And as that happens, I do think that a crossfade form factor will be a game changer. And I do think we're a generation away. When that generation is as old as you and I are, Jesse, you and I will sit on our porches with our rocking chair, maybe with a corncob pipe, hopefully with cannabis in it. And we will both feel incredibly old, like relics, like a bygone era for how people used to consume cannabis. That's my 2 cents.
And Jesse,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you on the form factor. I think the crossfade form factor is very likely to come. I don't see cannabis completely replacing alcohol and having like just a cannabis drinks rave nightclub.
Pipe dream.
Doesn't sound like it would work, or that people would actually do it.
Hey, but Jesse, I would also like to say, man, about the onset. About the delayed onset and all that shit, man. I'll take 5 shots, man, and I'll be all good. And then 20 minutes later, I'm blacked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I cannot tell.
Oh, I'm not touching that one, Rico. I'm not touching that one.
I know you're going with that, Jason, and I like it.
Yeah,
Go further, Jason.
Treat him like he was in your TSA line, Jason.
Oh man, you guys. This whole thing, you guys' beverage hype is such a ridiculousness. I mean, Jenny, you consume a decent amount of alcohol, Jenny. What do you think about these cannabis beverages? I mean, are you as bullish on the beverages as Rico and Yarrow are?
No fucking chance.
See, exactly. Spoken from, you know what I'm saying, someone who consumes alcohol on the regular and therefore does not consume cannabis beverages on the regular. So there you have it right there.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to replace it completely. It will definitely, it's going to change the pie of the market, and different markets are going to shift into cannabis drinks, just like Rico said. the wine moms who are at a family function and where cannabis is relaxing, especially if they're just taking 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams. You know, that's definitely going to be a thing. But 21-year-olds who want to rave all night, it replacing like alcohol for them, I kind of doubt it.
But here's
I've got nothing to go off of except for other people's words, because I don't go out to bars and shit unless it's with my own boys and special occasions.
Here's the miss here. 20-year-olds who are raving all night were never just on alcohol. Let's be incredibly clear.
Well, no, I know. It's a cocktail. That's my point.
No, it's not a cocktail. It's not a cocktail at all. And unless anybody else here was ever the executive producer for over 18 raves in their career, I will stand on my CV. Raves have never been powered by primarily alcohol.
Yeah, they've been powered by Molly.
Cocktail, meaning it's many things.
They're actually powered by $20. No, they're actually
there, bro. I've
raves
also run parties. I know.
Raves are actually partied by $20 bottles of water.
Yeah, right. That's what fuels
that's
it.
what powers. Yeah, that's what powers raves, you guys.
Yeah, it's definitely not the Molly or the Pressies at all.
But alcohol is always a central thing to something like that, because all the other substances are outlawed, so those are under the table, and the alcohol is the one that brings them together. And functionally, I think alcohol, if you even want to call it a medicine in human culture, functionally alcohol does serve as a sort of glue and a lubricant. Even just a drink or two can help a person relax and feel more vibey and want to dance, and that's just part of it. And yes, we can do that too, but I just don't think it's gonna replace it. That's all I'm arguing for. It's not. I think it'll take over a piece of the pie, but it's never gonna fully replace it.
Baby slice.
100%. I agree with you.
100%. So quick one before we hop off the subject overall. Would anybody here have thought that cigarettes would just totally be out like they are now?
Yes.
Like how often?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to tell you why, Rico. I'm going to tell you why. Because there are active public campaigns that tell kids and people not to smoke cigarettes, and cigarettes don't really give you like an effect like alcohol does. Okay. Whereas with alcohol, you have massive campaigns as far as consuming alcohol on a regular basis. You don't see commercials. You know, they totally prohibited all the Marlboro Man ads and the Joe Camels and everything else like that, where alcohol does not have that advertising prohibition around it. So yes.
But those ads and shit didn't really do shit until vaping came along.
Those ads actually did do something, because if you look at the stats of
Jason, they did not. It wasn't until vaping came out, and this is what I'm saying.
You're missing what I'm saying. You're missing the point. You're arguing against yourself.
These cannabis seltzers could have a vape effect on alcohol.
Stop it, bro. You're grasping at straws now. You're sitting at the bar grasping at straws because the bartender didn't put one in your drink.
People are still consuming nicotine either way. The analogy doesn't work, because people are still consuming nicotine at record levels. They're just doing it through vaping. So changing the form factor isn't changing the substance. We're talking about replacing a category of substance. It's not going to be like that. It will take over more and more of the market. More wine moms, more older people, people who would want to do different things are going to consume these beverages. And a 6-pack of cannabis when you're going to go out disc golfing with your friends, that's going to replace drinking for sure over time. But
hold on, Jen. Hold on, Rico. Rico, hold on.
Golf. Are you drinking?
Hold on, Rico. Jenny had something she wanted to say. Go ahead, Jenny. What were you going to say?
Getting at, like, it's the same substance, just a different delivery method. Like, I don't think that at the end of the day, imagine going to a fucking NFL game, and by the time your fucking cannabis seltzer kicks in, you're now halfway through the fucking halftime show and you're bored, and now it's not fun. Yep. It's not something that's going to go away, and that's totally fine. And I appreciate if people want to do whatever, but like on the golf course, please just continue to give me vodka.
See, look at that.
Shout out to John Daly. He still smokes cigarettes out there.
So does Jenny Dills.
Look at that. See? See, so does Jenny Dills. Look at that. She smokes cigarettes and drinks liquor. Look at that, bro. Look at that.
So I just want to highlight some things that I really agree that Jesse said. First is that cannabis drinks will likely eat into alcohol sales. And secondly, that the analogy with tobacco doesn't carry through, because what's happened with tobacco is the form factors have changed, and that has allowed a mindset in regulated tobacco of heat not burn, in no small measure to keep their customer base enjoying nicotine and to reduce their legal exposure. And so if we think about things like Zins and crystalline nicotine, like Mother Nature never, ever intended those drugs to be that potent and to be delivered that way. And unfortunately, I think the same could be argued for some of the vapes these days. Like, were we ever intended to inhale 90% THC? That's not exactly how Mother Nature sketched it out on the blueprint. But I do agree that there will always be a place, because alcohol is a social lubricant. And I like to say, there's 3 social lubricants: money, alcohol, and ketchup for kids under 9 years old. And so, yes. What?
Twerking.
Shut up.
So I have never mastered that. The last time I tried to twerk, somebody called 911 and thought I was having a grand mal seizure. So I'm going to stick with the other 3.
I believe that. I believe that's a true story.
Yeah, they started to grab my tongue, and not because they thought I was sexy.
Oh my gosh.
So I just don't think I have it in me. But I do agree with what Jesse is saying. I don't think alcohol sales get cannibalized entirely. I do think there are people who want to go out into social situations and have a can in their hand, and they will choose THC drinks over alcohol sometime, and they will likely perceive them as less impactful from a health perspective. I do think people want to hang out without a hangover. I think there are people who want to be out there, want to be visible, want to be festive, and want to change the way they're feeling, but don't necessarily want to pay the price for the hangover. And so, especially when it comes to the people who are in fitness and are worried about their gains, or worried about they're trying to lose weight, or they just got their workout on, I think it is going to bite significantly into regulated alcohol sales as regulated cannabis drinks or hemp-derived drinks continue to find their way into the market.
It must be why Gavin Newsom is trying to ban all of them, because he owns all them wineries, right?
Yep. I mean, that's a good reason.
Gavin Newsom did it because he's running for president, whether he's announced it or not. And he knows that there's going to be an issue because of the lack of age-restricted checks and balances on hemp-derived intoxicating cannabinoids. And when he goes in front of everybody and does his little presidential push, aside from the gravelly voice and better than average hair, he wants to show that he's been tough somewhere. And we all know he's running for president, and that's really what that's about.
God save us all.
JD Vance is going to smoke Gavin in that race, but nonetheless.
Smoke him like a cigarette.
Like a cigar at the golf course.
Why are guys smoking each other?
Because that's Jason's way of, visualizing things. Men smoking.
Yarrow, it was you that thought of it that way.
Yeah, exactly, Yarrow. So one last thing on this whole beverage thing, okay? Because I think this is actually kind of interesting. Maybe you guys will too. So my buddy is going to be bartending Gwyneth Paltrow's Christmas Eve party coming up here on tomorrow night. Okay. And he has never told me ever that there is cannabis beverages and he's making mocktails or anything else like that. It's just straight liquor at that thing. And Gwyneth Paltrow is a big investor in one of the most successful beverage companies, Can. And so therefore, if she's not even including this into her holiday repertoire, what makes you think that more people will?
Yeah, I just know Gwyneth Paltrow is a big fan of Diddy parties. Two
things. Number one, he signed an NDA, so he doesn't tell you shit because he honors confidentiality. And number two, her attorneys told her, no way, you'd be too far ahead of the curve. Someone's going to get in an accident and sue you.
Yeah.
Well, fair
Consciously
enough.
uncouple your ass away from that thing. How about that, Yarrow Kubrin?
Well, let me tell you something. I have one last final story for you guys. I think you guys may find this interesting. And since it's the holidays, this is basically everything of what not to do to make sure that you are around for the holidays, you guys. Okay, Jenny Beth? You following along? All right. Because a Warren School Superintendent Food Services Director is charged for allegedly having marijuana within school grounds. That's right. A school superintendent in Warren was arrested for allegedly smoking marijuana with another school official in a plaza within school grounds and having a gun in the car. That's right. She had some fire with her firearms. On December 20th of 2024, Macomb County Prosecutor Peter J. Lucido said Fitzgerald Public School Superintendent Holly Stangl and Food Services Director Amanda Carroll were smoking marijuana at a plaza near the corner of 9 Mile Road and Ryan Road, located within 1,000 feet of school grounds, you guys. Warren police officers conducted a traffic stop on Stange and learned she was allegedly under the influence. A gun was later found in her vehicle. Stange was charged with possession of marijuana on school grounds and a 2-year felony. Possession of a weapon in a weapon-free zone, a 93-day misdemeanor, and operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, a 93-day misdemeanor. And Warren police officers also conducted a traffic stop on Carroll and learned she was also allegedly under the influence. Carroll was charged with possession of marijuana on school grounds, a 2-year felony, operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, second offense, a 1-year misdemeanor, and operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated with an occupant less than 16 years old, a 1-year misdemeanor as well. Stange and Carroll were arraigned on December 21st, and their bond was set at $5,000. Really, that's only like $500 to get out. They are scheduled to appear at 1 p.m. on December 23rd. That's today, you guys, for their bond hearing. And in a quote from their attorney says, "These allegations are deeply troubling. These women are not only responsible for their own conduct, but are entrusted with the well-being of our children. Engaged in alleged illegal drug use near school property and driving under the influence is a betrayal of that trust and puts our community at significant risk. We will pursue justice to ensure accountability and uphold the safety and integrity of our schools," said Lucido. And the Board of Education at Fitzgerald Public Schools held a meeting Sunday night, placing both officials on administrative leave. And in a letter, they wrote, "Dear Fitzgerald Public School families, the Board of Education at Fitzgerald Public Schools is committed to providing a world-class education to all our students. We hold our staff members to the highest standards of professional conduct and expect them to lead by example by adhering to our school values." I don't know. Do you think they used the wrong term when they said the highest standards? But nonetheless, as far as their policies and procedures, and we also believe in transparency and keeping our community informed. We have been made aware that the Fitzgerald Public School Superintendent and a member of the administration were arrested by law enforcement on Friday, December 20th. The school board has initiated an internal review of this matter, and we will be providing details when they are available and appropriate to share. We are communicating and cooperating with local law enforcement as they conduct their investigation and will continue to do so. Again, we are gathering information and facts regarding this matter and will be updating our community as soon as possible. Please know that this incident does not reflect the vast majority of our administrators, teachers, and support staff who work tirelessly each day to provide a world-class education. Sincerely, Julie Yokel, President of Fitzgerald Public Schools Board of Education. And in a quote from the lawyer representing the defendants, says, "My client is a dedicated educator and administrator with 2 decades of service, a mother of 2 young children, and is presumed innocent under the law of any charges," said Strange's attorney, Bill Barnwell, in a statement to the Macomb Daily. She will be vigorously defended and looks forward to her day in court. Well, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. This is not what you want to get caught doing right next to the holidays. First of all, these school buffer zones, I think, is totally ridiculous. They were off school property,
Totally
but
ridiculous.
within
Not on school property.
Yeah, within the 1,000-foot thing.
That's a quarter mile.
Exactly. Exactly, especially and they measure these things by radius, not by actual distance. At the same time, too.
And the crazy thing is that they're on 9 Mile too. Come on, man.
Exactly. There's tons of people smoking on 9 Mile, 8 Mile. All those miles are full of.
I can have have a quarter-mile buffer on a 9 Mile road. That don't make no sense to me.
Just saying.
This is terrible. We were going on and on and on about alcohol and cannabis. If these two gals were enjoying a little glass of bubbly off school campus,
no issue. Zero issue.
There'd be no issue. The other thing that I think is really challenging is the difference between ingestion versus intoxication. Consuming cannabis doesn't mean that you're driving while you're intoxicated. We know that people can have 1 or 2 cocktails depending upon their tolerance, their weight, their size, cocktails, and be able to drive while not being considered under the influence such that it affects their ability to safely operate a motor vehicle. Because we don't have those standards for cannabis, everybody's getting a stinky tree-based DUI or DWI merely because they consume cannabis. It's not fair. There's not a standard. There's not a way in which they can measure whether those people would be safe drivers after ingesting. But I know for those of us who've used more than a little bit, I can have a little bit of cannabis and I'm not automatically incapable of operating a motor vehicle safely. I just think this is terrible. I don't know that her being a mother of 2 kids makes her innocent. I don't really think that, parental status plays a role in how this should be played out in the court of public opinion. But definitely these people are innocent until proven guilty. And what is, I don't understand what having a handgun has to do with anything. It's not
I think just reading this story and seeing the pictures of these 2 white women, I'm pretty sure it is a political hit. This is Detroit. Like you got to be doing some wild shit to get pulled over in Detroit. Two white women like this. I think there's a political hit. There's a superintendent or whatever. She ruffled the wrong feathers, and I think somebody had it out for her. And maybe the arresting officers had a child that got in some kind of trouble, and they were looking for their chance. That's just my speculation. Outside looking in, I think there's more to this story that is going to come to light.
She was charged with a felony for possession of marijuana on school grounds, and they weren't even on school grounds.
Right. I think there's way more to this story than we know right now.
Was the felony for the possession of cannabis or for the firearm?
It was possession of marijuana on school grounds, a 2 years felony.
Wow.
And then possession of weapons in a weapon-free zone is a misdemeanor. So
how crazy is that? You get in more trouble. You can go shoot up kids, but you can't smoke weed with them, huh?
And thank you so much for the super chat, Mr. Joe Mackey, who says the only way to get a DUI for cannabis is if you tell on yourself. Just saying. I agree with that. I do think that these teachers definitely did tell on themselves. That is for sure, and that's why they're getting charged with driving under the intoxicated whatnot. But
I hope Pop brothers-in-law are their lawyers.
The same thing. Talk to the Wassermans.
STFU. Yeah, that's right. You know what I mean?
This lady needs to hire Alex Spiro because Jay-Z is winning right now. Get her ass out of this shit too.
Oh boy.
I just tell them it's terpene infused tobacco.
Just tell them it's a cannabis seltzer.
Rico, I missed the beginning of the article. How did they get pulled over?
It sounded to me like they were like pulled over on the side of the road and they were smoking. You know what I'm saying? That's how it sounded.
Well, that's dumb.
I agree with that too, Jenny. I agree with that too.
It sounds like, but there's not enough information there. It sounds like a hit piece, and they put out all this other stuff, all these other. Come on, man! This kind of sounds political.
Like she might have put a little bit too much faith in her white privilege.
Are you saying that this is a hit piece, Rico?
Okay.
Are you saying this is a hit piece because they were smoking weed?
No, because she is the superintendent of schools, and she's getting hit for this stuff. And there's two white women getting pulled over or getting popped for this shit in Detroit. It kind of sounds like she pissed somebody off to me.
I mean, it doesn't say what initiated the contact between the police and them.
Well, I mean, if you're pulled over on the side of the road, that the police can initiate contact if you're pulled over on the side of the road.
Yeah, but what was their probable cause?
Yeah, but then why would they search the car?
The smell of marijuana in the air. Smell of marijuana in the air. That's not hard to figure out.
Michigan has legal cannabis. And so we've talked about it at length on this show about whether in states with legal cannabis, how does cannabis become probable cause to search a vehicle further if cannabis is legal in that state?
Because you're on the road, you're on a federal highway. That's how.
Because Michigan also has legal alcohol, but I can't sit in my fucking car with my keys in the ignition and pop a beer.
Exactly.
I just think
Thank you, Jenny.
The notion that this person is facing a felony is really, I mean,
I'm wondering if they had just left the school property, like if that was the place they just come from. So that would mean that they probably were possessing this on school property as well.
Or they stashed it in the bushes.
They could have found it. Yeah, they could have. Yeah, they could have got it out of the bushes. They could have found it on the side of the road from someone that had thrown it out already on the side of the freeway. You know what I mean?
We are talking about Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. It's not out. It's not out of pocket to that. Yeah, there could have been a high-speed chase, and they could have found that bag of weed right there.
Hey, anybody who's been to Detroit, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You see some shit. You see some shit like that.
Love Detroit.
And so we've got these two ladies. Who, I mean, you don't get into being in the education system because you're a capitalist. Most people who get into the education system really genuinely care about making a net positive in the communities they serve, right? I mean, like,
it's a guaranteed job. You're never gonna get fired, bro. It's like becoming a cop. It's like, do you really want to be a cop, or are you just an asshole? Right?
Well, I would like to think, and maybe I'm colored by the fact that both of my parents spent a substantial amount of their vocational careers as teachers, but I would like to think that for the most part, people who get involved in serving their communities through education systems are really trying to be net positives. So here you got these people. They're trying to educate the youngins. They're off campus. They get charged with a felony for the cannabis possession. They're tried in the court of public opinion. It made the headlines. It made High at 9 News. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's gotten a lot of clicks and views already. Otherwise, we wouldn't have covered it or even known that it existed. And these two poor ladies who put in how many years of service are now going to have to fight this in the court of public opinion. They've already been put on administrative leave. So,
but Yarrow, they're not
proven guilty.
Yarrow, they're not educators. They're politicians. They're on the school board.
One of them is a director of food services. I cannot say that the director.
She's the director of food and beverage. She's the director of food and beverage, and she makes sure that there's an equal amount of blueberries in every muffin, Yarrow.
She is bringing hot lunches to kids who might not be able to get a wholesome meal at home. Come on. Let's not be totally mean to these people.
I'm not being mean.
You trying to spin it in the proper direction here, man?
Yeah,
like, nah, man.
That was a good spin, Yarrow. I'm not mad at that. I mean, and you know what? There's an interesting thing. Nick Bradley in the chat. You guys, where did that just go?
He wants to know if the kids are going to face the same penalties if they bring weed.
Yes, and no, kids would not face the same penalties. And at the same hold on, Rico. And at the same time, I would say that administrators and teachers and whatnot are held to a higher standard than kids are, because when you're young, you're supposed to make the mistakes and and then be able to get forgiveness, and that's how you learn between the difference between right and wrong. So I don't think kids should be held to the same standard either in the first place.
Yeah, okay, but saying that they're engaged in alleged illegal drug use near school property when that drug is legal in that state is the most disingenuous digital lynching I've read all month.
I mean, maybe they should.
Lynching, really, Yarrow? You pulling the Clarence Thomas on us? Well, if you pulling the Clarence Thomas, and I say these women will both get off. All they got to do is say, "Yo, Trump is president once again," and if he can get back into the presidency for what he did, we can get back in our spot, and y'all ain't shit. Make America great again. Let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Make America great again. We're getting ready to, Rico. Just, you know what I'm saying? A few more days. Less than 30 now.
A few more days. He'll be saying that like 4 days before Trump is out.
Just wait till you guys see my Christmas hat for Wednesday's show, you guys. And I got the greatest Christmas sweater, too, for you guys. You guys are Love
Oh
it.
my God! On that note, that was the last story, right, Jason?
That was the last story, Rico. Yeah.
All right, thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans getting their comments posted live on the big
Joe
screen
Mackey.
today. Joe Mackey with the big one today. Big $10 holla.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very, very much. And also to everybody else, all our live audience and online supporters, catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping the lights on, AV struggles to a minimum. And as always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day is hemp derivatives. Is that still Cannabis Sativa L, Jason? You know
it's all Cannabis Sativa L under the Controlled Substances Act. It's all the same thing.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Hey, shout out to cannabis seltzers out there too, doing the damn thing.
Is that the S? Is that the S in the cannabis S, the seltzer?
It's whatever you want it to be, Jason, whatever you want it to be. It has been Monday, December 23rd, 2024. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, America's #1 daily cannabis news show. And today, we're going to pop things right back out to the man with the plan, right back from a heavy-handed on-site vacation in the Shire. Back with us, back to Middle Earth, the man himself, Yarrow Kubrin. What you got for these good people today, man? You got to send them off some good salutations.
So first of all, happy holidays. We're in that time of year. I want to say, while I thoroughly enjoyed being in some place that was less cold than it currently is here in Northern California, I did miss being on the show, and I love this show. I hope you guys continue to tune in. I love reading the chat. I love the back and forth, the banter, the lack of agreement on most topics. And you can only get it here at High 9 News. This is the only show that I'm aware of in the world that covers the previous 24-hour news cycle in cannabis and hemp. And so please come back, hit the smash the like button. I will be back tomorrow morning, and we will always keep it spicy for you.
So spicy.
Oh yes, and Adam, we got some Christmas music to play.
1, 2, 3, 4.